Hey, what's up, guys? It's another episode of Watch You Strappin, and these are not watch reviews. So just quick wristwatch check of the day with a aftermarket strap of some sort on the watch, just to show a pairing. Have some fun whenever I got time, and I apparently have time right about 4:38. Anyways, this is a Grand Seiko SBGX115. It's a model from around 2018, I believe, somewhere thereabouts. It's their first 9F Quartz diver. It really has much of the classic and well-established Grand Seiko style of dive watch look, though it does have something very unique, especially with this one. There's only been this and a black dial version within this SBGX117, and the main difference is this is a white dial. So I find this one particularly unique because one thing which for both models, the bezel inserts, it's something different that I don't think it's been repeated in any other Grand Seiko diver. Out of all the Grand Seiko divers, this one is probably the smallest one out of all of them. It still measures right around or just a hair under 43 millimeters, but within all the other Grand Seiko divers, it's probably the smallest. Everything is, if it's not the same, it's probably a bit larger or significantly larger than this one. So there's that. And I would say this is the only Grand Seiko diver that has a white dial. And as far as Grand Seiko divers goes, as well as Seiko divers, they generally have a date, maybe even a day-date complication. And so, this is one that's completely no date, which is a nice, clean, and I think rather refreshing. And I don't know, I just love the symmetry. And this is on we're talking about straps. It is on a Bonetto Cinturini. I forget the model number of this one. I'll try to look it up and put it in the description of this, in the title of this video when I post it. But I bought this a while back, 22 millimeters. It does taper down to, looks like approximately probably 20 millimeters, maybe a little bit more than that actually, but there is a little bit taper. But it's a nice high quality Italian rubber strap. It's good that it doesn't have it's not a lint magnet. As you can see, it's pretty clean, and I didn't do really anything to keep it clean today. It's fairly pliable. I think it could be a little bit softer or more pliable up by the lug area where it should bend a little bit more rapidly around the wrist. That's always can be a trouble spot for some rubber straps in particular that are a bit on the stiff side. They just tend to go straight, so when you put it around your wrist, it almost feels like the band is almost like squeezing or pinching the sides of your wrist, if you understand what I mean, because there's a little bit lacking in the flexibility area for some straps. This sometimes has that feel, but I think once you wear it for a while, it softens up, or at least it starts to bend a little closer to the wrist shape, and it's fine. Overall, I wouldn't say it's uncomfortable, but I would say it could use a little bit more, just a little bit more pliability or it wouldn't hurt throughout, but at least closer to the lugs, if not a kind of a pre-curve or bend, which some straps have that help, facilitate, a nice, easy wrap around the wrist. But anyways, this is a pretty cool strap. I got this for some micro brand, H2O watch actually. I believe it was the Turboron, which is kind of like an homage of a Triton Subfoutique, or a Triton or Spiral Technique Triton, I guess is what the vintage model is more called more referenced towards. But if you're not familiar with that, look it up. It's a pretty cool dive watch. It's got like a crown at the 12, integrated kind of crown guards into like a pivoting lug system. It's pretty cool. They make modern versions of that, but it's a very hard to get a hold of. I can't find a reliable source to get one from, at least new, and they are pretty expensive too. They cost new. I think they cost even more than a Grand Seiko, like they're like 5,000 or 6,000, somewhere around there. At least that's what they asked for, or fairly close to, or at least 5,000. And and they just have but they have a silk prop movement, which is supposed to be pretty good, but still, off the shelf. And considering it's, they haven't really been around or done much other than this one particular model. It's kind of a lot, but I do really like it. But unfortunately, I'm not too sure how about I would get one, at least for a good price. Anyways, we're talking about this watch. Excellent watch, super great at timekeeping. It's basically has zero deviation for like months, and I mean, short of like my Casio G-Shock, which has radio as well as Bluetooth, can sync up and make sure that everything's the time is accurate. That way, it's got ways to check and calibrate itself. That's cool, but then this is all self-contained, which is pretty awesome. Everything that was engineered and built is inside here to keep it like super accurate in time, down to the specially grown, quartz crystals that are only the best are picked. And then once you do have that, the quartz component, the module or whatever, is all hand built. I'm sure some parts are machined, the circuitry and stuff, but otherwise, basically everything's, I think, hand built and assembled and fine-tuned to that specific quartz crystal, so that it will be the most optimum, best performance out of that crystal, very accurate. And it's also all thermally compensated too, so it really holds really well. I've never seen or experienced a watch that is as accurate as this one. That's all, I mean, zero deviation for months so far. I mean, I had this maybe, has it been 3, maybe a little over that? I got it somewhere in mid or late summer of 2023. This is December now, and basically, it's a phenomenal watch. Actually, the movement, quartz, a high quality quartz, a really premium one that's really crafted as expertly as Seiko has, I guess. It's not to be made fun of or dismissed or anything. Definitely have its place in for a really good, true tool watch, dive watch such as this. It really makes sense to have something like that that's super accurate and not fussy, and it just works, and it's probably more resilient than any mechanical movement, I would imagine. But anyways, super cool. I like this on the black rubber strap. I just wanted to give it a try. I don't have a heck of a lot of 22 millimeters, and if I did, I'd have to get the special spring bars to make sure that they fit like the lug holes in Seiko dive watches. They're particularly larger. I don't want to put in skinny ones and potentially scratch or kind of bend or otherwise mess up the lug holes potentially, because they're just too small and they have maybe a little bit too much play. You can imagine that getting, kind of grinding away at the insides of the lugs if they're allowed to move around too much and as such. But anyways, what do you think? I think this is a handsome piece, really do. I like white dial black bezel divers. It was something that I had a long time ago, and for the only watch I had for 12 years, which was a Tag Heuer actually, and it was quartz too, but I love that watch and somehow I lost it. Anyways, but then there's nothing fancy about this watch in terms of like within the Grand Seiko realm. This is fairly straightforward and basic. I mean, there's no the stuff that a lot of people gravitate towards and why they go for Grand Seiko would be one, the dial work. This is clean, it's nice, but there isn't all that fancy texturing that people are always raving about, or any like miraculous, something nature inspired colors. Not really. It's pretty much an opaline dial. It's got a little bit of satin sheen to it. It's not pure white, but for all intents and purposes, I mean, it's basically white. And the Zaratsu finishing on both the case and the handset, I'm sure it's got it. These are fairly just straight brush, but when you talk about the dressier watches, they have more complicated cuts and shapes and details on the case, I believe, in a lot of cases, as well as particularly the handsets on those, and the indexes as well. They really exhibit a lot more of the Zaratsu polishing that Grand Seiko is really famous and respected for. And this one has it, I'm sure, but it's not to the degree of like a lot of the dress watches, as I said. So just it's fairly basic in the Grand Seiko realm, but it's still very nicely done, and there's just something about that's kind of cool. I think having a luxury watch such as Grand Seiko as a true dive tool watch, and you're not afraid to mess about with it, and it's actually truly durable and super accurate and all that. I think it's really cool. Anyways, that's about it. I gotta go, so thanks for watching and enjoy your watches.